So we'll start with how you started your running journey, because a lot of people look up to you. I mean, especially I remember, I want to mention, like, I did a training, I did a session with Bobby where Bobby guided me about like small things like running and this thing like stadium and all, because I used to feel like it is like for big athletes and all, and then I felt like, okay, it is like anyone can come and practice and all. So Bobby has had a huge impact on my running journey and me becoming like a better runner. He has also supported us in various causes and initiatives. So I always appreciate, always look up to him, being so famous, but he's always been very humble and very approachable. And so I really appreciate that we keep seeing like events and all. But I won't go into detail. But I'll just start with the first question. I mean, how you came up with the idea of like, okay, you should run, or you should run like crazy distance, you should run fast. How it
Yeah.
started?
So just a quick introduction about myself, Bobby here, and we are having this session at my place. And yeah, so Gulin had mentioned that it will be good if we can have a small discussion with the team. So it's always my pleasure to have everyone together and share some of my experiences. So personally, in terms of sports, I started is in the year 2009, and it's all accidental. How I entered into the sport. So 2009, basically I had joined my new company, and just before joining, I was told to do a small health checkup. So before joining, so that's in Feb I joined them. In Jan I did a health checkup. There was slight increase in cholesterol. So doctor just said that you need to lead a more active lifestyle. So, so I said, yeah, fine. I mean, always doctors mention that. So I agreed, listened to it, and yeah, so I joined. So then, coincidentally, just within a month after that, my daughter had her sports event in school. So just to prepare for her sports event, both of us just started a bit of running just besides the house. So initial days, as everyone, I mean, I would struggle to run more than 200 meters in one round. Yeah. So you did 200 meters. Next day, I could do two times 200 meters. The third day, I could actually do even more. So literally every day, I could see a progression in myself. So that was also a good motivation for me. Uh, that you can concretely see the improvement day on day. I never had a running gear. I never had any proper shoes. So when I went to the Nike store to purchase a shoe, they introduced me to the Nike Run Club, and that's where actually I got to learn the systematic method of training yourself uh, to run. So I keep telling everyone, so normally people always say that you get fit by running. So I say it's the opposite way. You need to be fit
To
to
run.
run better. Yeah, to run injury free. So I always keep mentioning that. So even personally for me also, I focus almost 50% of my effort on fitness, and might be 50 or even less than 50 on running, because once you are fit, it just makes you stronger in your runs. So yeah, I mean, so I started off with the Nike Run Club, and I was trained in a very well organized method. So we had concepts of warming up, we had concept of doing a run. Then after we finished the run, then we had stretching, we had a bit of strengthening, and we had a good coach who took us through the proper method. So yeah, so because of this well organized method of training, I found that I had no injuries or anything, and I was able to take it
Nice. So
forward.
it was like a guided, and for that reason,
Very,
it was
very
not
well
like.
guided. Yeah, it was. I was lucky that way. So I had a good coach, as well as in the Nike Run Club, there were some of the best runners of the city
Exactly.
was there in the
I
club.
just want to mention Nike Club was the first one in, especially in Bangalore and
Yeah,
long back. So whoever you see like nowadays on like top organizers,
yeah,
they are all part of that. It was very long back,
that's
right?
right.
Like that. That
Nike
was the
Run Club.
first one. And
Yeah.
whoever was. So all seniors like Bobby and all are from. They share a common background, and so yeah. So okay. So how that came to like your first marathon? Because you first thing, like,
Yeah.
usually people just run. They just start on, they see online this thing or some competition
Yeah.
somewhere. They just start. So
Yeah.
it's a very good thing you mentioned that it was like a proper warm
Yeah.
up and cool down. You
Right.
stressed on that, and injury free. Third thing I
Yeah.
noted.
Yeah.
So then how it came to marathon? Was
Marathons.
it?
Yeah. So, so when I joined the Nike Run Club, so this I joined them in early April. So, in the end of May was the Bangalore's. Those days, it is now what we call the TC.
2009, right?
Yeah, 2009. So that
2009.
time it was called as Sunfished
Uh-huh.
10K. And now what we have the TCS World
TCS World
10K.
10K,
That time it was
Sunfish, yeah.
sponsored by Sunfish, so it was called as the Sunfished 10K.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the event which came in exactly 2 months after that. So I mean, all of us in the Nike, then Nike is one of the sponsors. So
Mm-hmm.
as part of that, all of us registered for the Sunfish
Sunfish
10K.
10K.
It was a very successful event, and for me, it was like, it was almost a shock to see, almost 20,000 participants in that one event. I mean, it is like a world by itself. Once you
Yes,
enter
yes,
the
yes.
stadium, it is like unbelievable to see that many number of people inside. So yeah, it was like I entered into a new world, and I got to experience it. I was very happy. I had a nice run. Then, so I did it in around 59 minutes. Then continued with the Nike Run Club even after that, and in around 2 3 months down the line, I was able to do. There was another 10K event, and in that again I improved. After that, in Chennai, there was a half marathon event. That was my first half marathon, which I did, and I was able to do that successfully. So I did the Chennai half marathon. That time there was Idea, sponsored by Idea. It was so I did that, and then in Jan was the that time the Standard Chartered Mumbai Marathon. So
Yes, yes, yes.
so in Jan 2010 I did the half marathon half marathon in 2010. And then that's where I had heard of I saw people doing the full marathon. So that's where I got introduced to this full marathon. And then, yeah, it took exactly around a year to train myself for the full. And in Jan 2011, I did my first full marathon. But when I did my first, so it took me almost 2 years of training when I did my first full. And yeah, so, the good thing was I was very well trained for the full,
Nice, nice,
very well
nice.
trained to run the full uh, with that discipline training, and I could successfully do it. I did my first one was under sub 4 hours,
Oh,
so
very nice,
which
very
was the
nice.
good experience.
Initially, that is a very good aim. Like when I
Yeah,
got and I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. Like it's just initially that's a very good goal for
yeah,
I feel a lot
that's
of
right.
people. But first marathon's a very
Yeah.
big thing. But and how were the last 2 kilometers of them? Was it like
Nah,
painful?
it
Was
was.
it you were happy, excited,
No,
or?
I mean, obviously, I mean, the first full, so I remember the first 20 kilometers was just brilliant. I mean, I couldn't believe, so well we were doing. Then after 20 kilometers, I and my coach, both
Hmm.
of us were running together. He is far, 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 far more experienced. So both of us were running. Then after 20, I told him that I cannot sustain the pace. He continued with the pace. I slowed down a bit. So he continued with the pace for 30 kilometers. I could maintain that for 20. Then I slowed down. Um, and yeah, I mean, uh, uh, it, after 30, always say you hit the wall. So after 30, 32, so your legs ache, your legs are not moving, your calves are aching, your quads are not moving, your movement of the feet is restricted. So all of those challenges were there, and the 35th kilometer is the pedal road, which is the most difficult part. But that's the place where you get the maximum support. The volunteers, come
Yes.
forward and give you extensive support. That's the place. So yeah, it was overall an experience, a cherishable experience. I mean, it's really in a lifetime experience, and you can always consider yourself blessed to participate so much of a power packed uh, event. So yeah, it was the last two obvious always. In fact, not just the last two, the last 10 kilometers was very challenging. But yeah, but you don't look into that so much. just see the
Finish.
finish. Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
super
nice.
super excited.
Like they say, run with the mind, like
Yeah,
towards the end, not legs.
absolutely. Yeah.
Nice. So if someone is starting out, like because we have some who are comfortable 5K, some are 10K, but
Mm.
mostly the big goal is 21K, or it's like okay, one full marathon I have to do, and very few we have like ultra who wants to go like ultra
Yeah,
distance.
yeah.
So what do you recommend them? Like what are good
I
goals?
mean,
What?
yeah, I mean, so good goals is for every individual to decide what is it that one should. Because obviously, the world is diverse. Everyone's thinking is different, background is different. So I mean, some do very short distance like sprinting, the on the track based workout. So they run
Mhm,
the 100 meters, the 200 meters,
mhm,
and maximum they go is they don't those who run the 100 200 they don't even attempt the 400, but some of them 100 200 up to 400. But there's another category like the 800 1 kilometer and 1500 or 1 mile, so that is another category. There are some who do the 1 mile and the 5 kilometers. There are some
mhm,
who do 5 and 10. Some do 10 half marathons.
mhm.
The people who do the full marathons, the people who do the ultras. Ultras is also like never ending.
Never ending, that
Yeah,
basically
50
distance.
kilometers, 50 kilometers, 100 kilometers, 12 hours, 24 hours. So it's an entire huge big ocean. So, I mean, what to do is for individuals to decide. But whatever you do, you need the most important aspect is you need to really train yourself for it. You just cannot just go and do that event. So if you are doing the 12 hours run, you really need to train to run in the morning, to run in the afternoon, to run after eating something, to run in the evening. So you really need to train. You need to train to run 2 or 3 days consecutive, such that you do at least 75% or 100% of the mileage across 2 3 days. So you need to train on all those different levels, and then you join in. So whatever distance you like. So some like to do the short distance, while some like to do the long distance. Some like to do it intense, some like to do it with no intensity,
Mhm.
no pressure at all. I just want to run and enjoy it. So whatever fits, I would say.
Very nice. Yeah. I hope that answers everything, like all this, like how to figure out your goals and all. So next one, I would like to ask, like some people are working and
Mm.
they still want to continue with their running
Yeah.
hobby or passion, or maybe they want to increase it. Then they're like, we go to work, we are tired in the evening. Should we run morning, evening? But
Mm.
how did you balance the
Yeah.
extensive training and then for full marathon?
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. That's, I mean, very valid question, very important question, because uh, you want to run as well as then you have got many other commitments. You have got your work, you have got your personal life, you have got many other things along with it. So how do you manage? So in my case, luckily, I'm not one. I never watch TV, so I get a lot of time from that. I'm not a big crazy addict on the mobile devices, so I am literally very little on WhatsApp. Not a big. I mean, WhatsApp is completely out. So little bit on Facebook and Insta, a little bit, but I don't spend a lot of time. I'm never. You'll never see me. Whenever I'm free, I never am checking my Facebook or anything. So I minimize all those things that I do. So there is work, focus on work, and there are many other activities I'm involved in. Like at home, I have my own small little terrace garden. I do my own composting. I'm quite active in the layout related activities. So there are a lot of these things that I'm occupied with. So I prioritize each one of them through the day. I give it the required attention. Uh, and for me, each one of them is very important. So sports is just probably one of the 10 things. I would say at least minimum one of the 5 things, important things that I'm doing.
Mhm.
Sports.
I would like to just mention one more thing, like Bobby's like WhatsApp statuses. I don't like WhatsApp or
Yeah,
something. I don't like
yeah,
using WhatsApp.
yeah,
And this is the same status since like past 4 years.
yeah.
Because
In fact,
4 years back, I was added to a group training group or this thing, but since then,
yeah, I mean,
so, yeah.
I literally have no time to ever check WhatsApp, and I don't have time to respond to messages. So I'm never in any WhatsApp groups. You never see me active in. Never in fact, that the training group that I am in, I am also not in that WhatsApp group. Our family has got WhatsApp. I'm not in that also, so I'm away from all of. I seriously have no time, for that.
So just you just mean that they have to just trade off, like leave some areas.
Yeah, that's
And
right. Yeah, I mean, what
what
is
is
you
your
have to prioritize it. Yeah, you know what is
exactly?
important, and you because if time is a constraint, then that's the only way
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
can manage
But
that.
you live pretty like minimalistic life and very atmanirbhar, growing your
Yeah,
own things and eating and like all this thing. We'll get into that also. But I just want to ask, what was your favorite moment? Like some moment in the running thing or some particular event is like, I love that moment and I cannot like forget that run or some special.
yeah. I mean, yeah, very difficult to, to pinpoint one because, I mean, to be frank, each one has been an experience by itself. Probably my first full marathon has been a great experience. I would always cherish that. The first full, the first half, the first 10K, these are moments you would just cherish through your life. I mean, those have been then my first barefoot that I did. I mean, how I trained and transitioned to barefoot. So that has been a cherishable moment. So yeah, I mean, I very difficult to pinpoint to one of them as such.
Lot
But
of
yeah,
moments.
lots of yeah.
Nice. So if you close your eyes, like if you think about this, oh, this, it will be
Yeah,
like
lots
some
of there have
nice.
been very good moments actually through this running journey. So
So that leads us to, since Bobby mentioned barefoot, that leads us to our next topic, barefoot running. How you started, you mentioned about the Nike sponsoring all this thing.
yeah.
So how you started, how you got into barefoot and why you felt, I mean, we know, I mean, but a lot of new people are there, but how you transition to that and how you felt, did you feel like going back like wearing shoes or what do you feel about shoes or
Yeah.
a lot of people ask what shoes we should buy and actually we should donate but yeah I'm a big like promoter of barefoot running a big comes from like Bobby himself because so
Yeah.
but what do
So
you feel about
yeah. So I mean, again, barefoot also for me was accidental. I've been seeing, I've seen, when I transitioned to barefoot in the year 2012, there were just very few across the country. So there wasn't anyone to guide me, and internationally also there wasn't anyone to guide. So it was a very very big challenge. And year 2012 when I transitioned also, I was quite a strong runner at those moments. Um, so being strong, being a very intense runner, transitioning to barefoot was never easy because if you go fast, it pains. So I had to be. I mean, there was uh, there was one lady by the name Priya. She was barefoot, and I had another one friend by the name Benny. So he also had some experience of barefoot. So I consulted these two here and there. I used to have, like, especially when you do the first time barefoot, and if you're a little bit intense, we have this pain called as top of the foot pain because your form of running changes. So I had gone through all of that. But the thing is, I was gradual. I started off with 1 2 kilometers, progressed gradually. Uh, so I remember in April is when did my first barefoot run walk, and in end of May was my first 10K. So it gave me 2 months, reasonably around 2 months time to train for the first 10K. Even a week before the 10K event, also I wasn't sure if I should run with shoes or barefoot, but I just took a decision that I will do it barefoot. So then luckily since it was the first time I had wrapped my feet with a tape which sticks on the feet. So just as a protection, because I wasn't sure will there be glass or
yeah what
something.
kind of
Yeah, so that was I put a tape around my feet and I did it successfully. It was a great experience. Then within around 6 months, I remember I did my first half marathon barefoot, again with a tape in it. So I did my first half, and then when I did my uh, first full also I did a tape. So that whenever I did the first, then after that I have never put on any tape. So and I never worn a shoe since then till today. Never worn a shoes for any of my runs. So gradually transition, let my body get used to it. and I was pretty successful in
Mhm.
my barefoot runs.
Very
See,
nice.
barefoot. I mean, I don't insist because not everyone can do it. Enjoy a barefoot experience. So first thing is. Uh, if anyone is doing a first time a barefoot thing, you need to run with someone who is also running barefoot. So it is just a mental booster to you that someone is there with you. Even if something goes wrong, you at least you know that there is a friend with you. Select a place which is good. I've written a blog also on how one should
Mhm.
transition to barefoot. So probably if you
I'll
can
share.
share
I'll
it,
share in the audio
yeah.
groups.
So that will help you gradually. So don't in barefoot, the key thing is never over push. Your experience should always be that you're enjoying it. Once you over push, then you don't enjoy that barefoot experience, then you will never go barefoot. So
Mhm.
but what I always say is, God has made every animal in this world barefoot. Yeah, so it's just humans who has designed, someone has branded the concept of shoes so much that we are brainwashed with that our image is based on the kind of shoes that you can afford to buy. So and shoes also gives you some protection and everything, but yeah, uh, try it out, see if you enjoy the experience, do it. Or I also say that even if you do it once a fortnight, if you do at least 2 or 4 or 5 kilometers, if you can do barefoot at least 2 3 kilometers, if you can do,
Mhm.
itself is a very good experience for the entire body. Yeah, because there's a lot of communication which happens from the sole of the feet to the entire body.
Mhm.
So that would be good. So at least whenever you can, once a week, once a fortnight, at home especially, try to be barefoot as far as possible at home. So always
Mhm.
try to be barefoot at home. So all those things will help you uh,
So
to
kitchen slippers and all this now is trending. Like people wear slippers in
yeah,
the kitchen
that's right.
also and
Not
like
required, really.
bed going
Yeah,
to bed.
some people can't. It's too cold. The floor will be
Mhm.
too cold, so it's not thing. So there are a lot of reasons why they wear slippers at home, or some of them even the house itself will not be clean, so clean that they need to wear the slippers. So yeah. Uh,
What about the glass?
yeah, I mean, glass is more of a mental barrier. In reality, there is not so much of glass. So people talk of nails and glass and many other things, stones. So I mean, I agree there could be, but I mean, I have been running now. It's almost 8 9 years. That 2012 till now, it's over 8 years. I've been running barefoot. I have never ever had a glass piece cut my feet, never in so many years, even through this mileage. I've had, minute glass pieces enter my feet and had that. So, usually I just visit my physician and tell him where it is. He'll remove it out. And nowadays, even my daughter helps me out with it. So, if it is, if she can I mean, look and remove it out. I can't do it myself, but I know a friend of mine. He can do it out by himself. He will
Mhm.
remove it out. But in my case, I tell my daughter. So if she finds it, she just remove it out. So I feel, it doesn't happen often. Yes, sometimes it happens once a month. Sometimes it happens once a quarter. Sometimes even in 6 months, not never even once I get it. So it just depends. Uh,
Nice. So that leads us to 2015, which was a special year for you.
the
First barefoot person to
Boston,
run, yeah,
yeah,
Boston Marathon.
Boston, yeah, yeah, yeah. So, see, Boston was an experience. First of all, Boston has got multiple reasons. One is it's like the Olympics, so you need to qualify to participate in the Olympics. So Boston is the Olympics for the amateurs. There is a qualification criteria, and not many, achieve those qualification criteria. So both myself and my coach, both of us were lucky. We were qualified together in the year 2014. We got eligible to register. In 2014, we registered, and we were able to participate in the year 2015. Uh, and yeah, so we went there. In the US, the concept of barefoot is just unheard of. So no one has,
Luxury, too
yeah,
much luxury.
yeah. I mean, it is, yeah. I mean, they can't imagine someone can ever be barefoot. I mean, Indians, at least we go to temples, we go to, somewhere at least we are barefoot. or at home you're barefoot. They even at home they cannot be. First of all, it's cold, right? American, European, and all these places are pretty cold. So even at home they are not barefoot. They always wear something. Um, so for them the concept of, I mean, I was surprised to see that. I mean, people were just just couldn't imagine that someone can be barefoot. That concept itself never existed. So so I still remember, so they pick us up from the start line, and drop us to, sorry, from the, so uh, the Boston event, the finish line is in the city. So most of the people stay close to the city. So they pick you up from the finish line and take you to the start line in a bus. So there are literally 1,000, you know, bus service
Back
which
and
is,
forth.
yeah, they move around and they take you to the start line. So I still remember when I was waiting over there at the finish line to enter into the bus, everyone had seen. See, was wearing a socks. I wasn't. I mean, obviously, because it was too cold. It was almost 5 degrees or even less than 5 degrees. It was. So it was extremely cold. We were shivering in a jacket and full. We had worn jeans. And there they don't have a concept in the start line. They don't have a concept of baggage counter, because just 2 years before that there was an incident of a bomb blast.
Oh,
So because of that incident, they were not taking any baggages in the baggage counter. So if you are wearing jackets, jeans, you have to dispose it up. So people pick it up and hand it over to NGOs. So we were wearing those jeans and jackets, and we had to just before the start, we had to remove it and hand it over to the NGO. They will pick it up. Yeah, so I did the event. I mean, it was too cold. At 5 degrees, you really have to experience. I always say the most sensitive area in the body is the feet, the palms, and the ears. So these three are the most. So that's what you have to cover, and that protects your body. So I mean, that's why I wore these socks. I had worn two layers of socks. I'd worn gloves, and I was wearing a monkey cap to just to protect myself from the cold. And at the start line, it started to rain. So when we were waiting at the start line, it was raining. In that cold weather, it was raining. We are all got wet, fully drenched, we were. But now you're gone there, you have to run. And barefoot was making it extremely difficult for me to run that event. But yeah, I had no pressure of time because luckily I did not have a target. I just had to experience it. So I just had to finish it in a good method. So I started off after 10 kilometers. I removed off the socks because the socks were fully drenched. I couldn't, run with that socks. So I removed it off. Um, and then again, in US, the quality of the roads, the tarmac is very different from what we have here. See, in India, I always sell in India the quality of the tarmac, not quality, the type of tarmac is far better because it's really very smooth. Uh, there, because of the snow, you cannot have a smooth roads. There will be lots of stones. So when you are running on the tarmac road, you are
It does
literally
not have to
stepping.
be slippery for the vehicle.
Yeah, that's right. So that it should not be slippery for the vehicle. So when you run on the stones, it is extremely painful, and especially in that cold weather, it is so painful. So I mean, it was a challenging experience, but running in Boston, Boston is like the fastest runners in the world. We are running with the fastest
Yes.
runners in the world. So even at that pace at which I'm running, there were literally hundreds. I had no place even to keep my elbow aside. No, literally everyone is hitting each other, touching each other, and running. So that was the type of crowd in the event, even at that superb pace. So it was a great experience, and while running itself, there were so many people who were asking me about my barefoot things.
What
And
happened to shoes? You
yeah,
donated it or no?
and then the best part was at the finish line. One of my friend was waiting for me over there. So he saw a journalist, and she wanted to interview runners. So he told her that there's a barefoot runner, and he was tracking me.
Running, yeah, yeah.
He was
I
tracking me.
shared your photo, like one photo is taken from like this barricading is there, and then one
Oh,
person is
with the flag.
interviewing you, yeah, with the flag
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
So I shared in the group
yeah.
earlier.
So yeah, so that one photograph which was taken with me with the Indian flag with two of my friends, that
Yeah, it
went
got viral, yeah.
across the world. I mean, I was a celebrity for those 2 weeks.
Then lot of
So
people actually started
many, so many.
barefoot. It got started like
Yeah,
after.
I had so many people wanted to interview me and inquire the experience. So it was a great. I mean, Boston is a moment to cherish, and running that event has a lot of experiences you would get. So
This the journey to going through that and
yeah, it was
qualifying and
great,
all.
really
Very
great.
nice. So that leads to perfectly. That leads to the next question, which is I've seen two versions of you. Whenever because I encounter a lot of time, I've been in lot of events. I saw like earlier days. I saw like Bengaluru 10K on like those green T-shirt on like shoes. That was my first event. I deposited my shoe. No, seeing Bobby, I'm like I'm not even going to carry. So that time I saw you. Then I saw you like TCS 10K. Obviously, I saw you there. Then I saw you Trot. So different versions between TCS 10K and Trot was Trot. You registered, and then you were. That was my first
More
debut
of a
full marathon, and you registered for
I
21, and you're like,
more of a fun thing. Yeah,
more
yeah,
fun. So
yeah,
two versions. One is you go for competitive,
yeah.
and sometimes you just register and you
And
just
have fun.
cheer and you high five.
Yeah,
And so
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so yeah, so some events I keep myself to run very strong. So some
mhm.
events I have a target pace in mind that I want to run strong. So when you have to run strong, then I just have my form of running. I just focus on myself. I literally have not lot of flexibility to move around and cheer. So yeah, so that is when I go very strong. But if I'm not running very like trot, I still remember
I
the other day.
remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
You came from behind and I'm running with,
yeah.
and
And
someone's just like, Bobby, Bobby. And I'm like, oh yeah. And I ran and
yeah,
I,
so that is more of though I'm running strong, but I still have the leverage to to cheer people. So yeah, I mean, there's different objectives for which we run, right? I mean, some we run to socialize with people and we enjoy that, and some is to test yourself, to challenge yourself. Some we run. So yeah, so different things have all different experiences.
could you balance out both? Because some people are like, no, only for fun I run. And in a way, they are kind of limiting themselves because they're scared. Okay, I want to test my limit.
I
Or
mean, it's individual choices. I mean, some cannot be very fast, so they prefer that they enjoy the run, they enjoy the moment. So it is. Every, I mean, everyone has got their own reason. So so yeah. So that's why some say that that's why I love to run long distances. I can keep running, without the pressure of going fast,
like
fast,
a
fast.
meditation, like
Yeah, just
running and just
enjoy
like
it. Like
using
enjoy
the mind.
keep running long distances. So yeah,
Nice. So our last topic is diet, nutrition, gels, supplements. When it is
yeah.
good, when it is not good. Why it is important for some competitive people, why it is not day-to-day eating
Yeah.
habits, diet, how it supports, how it's like goes bad, good, and so your experience on that. So.
Yeah, see, nutrition, I strongly believe, is an everyday affair. So it's nothing to do. We all need to lead a healthy life. We need to eat proper food, good food. So, I mean, for me, it's very clear. I mean, at least I'm lucky at home. We get, my wife really does good cooking. So, we get good food at home. And she also knows how seriously I train for, events. So, I'm a big fan of home food because we know what food we source, where are we sourcing it from, and home food. The advantage is minimize on oil, no junk that we add. We know food is fresh, quality of the ingredients are good. So all of that. That's why I strongly recommend have home food. Next one is don't overeat. That's very important. Whether it's lunch or dinner, never eat. Never stop your food when your stomach is full. Ideally you should stop it much earlier. Uh, Much earlier. Stop it at a moment when you know that you can eat much more. So stop it earlier. It really doesn't help. In fact, overeating only tires your body more than helps your body. It tires your body because it has to carry that overload of food. It has to digest all the food, and all of many of that would go a waste. So I mean, always I keep stressing on that. Never overeat. Just stop yourself much earlier, and have a disciplined diet. I mean, again, I tell everyone: see, breakfast, lunch, dinner, 3 meals we have, 7 days a week, so 21 meals in a week. 2 or 3, you can have 3 cheat meals. So that means out of 21, 3 cheat meals, 18 of them has to be disciplined. 18 of them. So you have three. You can always cheat. That is fine because we are not. We also want some freedom.
Once in a while,
Yeah,
yeah.
once a while. So 3 meals is quite a good thing to cheat. And the other 18 meals have homemade food. Have it on time. Have in reasonable quantity, and that should help you. So
What about supplements? When it
yeah,
is
I mean,
required and when it is not required, kind
I
of
mean, I'm not a big fan of supplements, even though I do so much of training in running and also on strengthening. I have no supplements. I mean, I believe more in food that I eat. I really have never. I mean, there was a time for a month or for a year or two which I used to have, but otherwise I don't have any supplements. Uh, but for the new runners, especially, I would recommend have Anazole, or there are these energy drinks that are available. Any of those energy drinks, you can have it
what
during your
about
run.
vitamin C, vitamin D? Now, though, like it's everything is deficient, people say, and then they need like something
Yeah,
to
I mean,
add
see,
on.
try to have natural as far as possible. So we have almost every day we have a lemon. Um, so um, so um,
Mm.
so I don't at least I don't have any of that. So we have lemon, oranges, fruits, lots of fruits. I eat. I'm quite a voracious fruits eater. So right now, like season of papayas, almost every day I would have
Mhm.
at least around a half of a papaya I would
You
have.
guess half of you are already following Bobby others. Like
Yeah,
I'll just share, it's very inspiring his Instagram. Although he does not like WhatsApp, but he shares on Instagram and
yeah. So I mean,
yeah.
natural, whatever is there in natural. So eat fruits which is available. Have that. That's really the most healthiest of all. Uh, so I have quite a lot of fruits and vegetables home. I'm voracious non-veg eater also. So I mean, I'm not that I promote non-veg because I mean some have vegan, some have vegetarian, some have non-veg. So I mean it's all
Personal
personal
preferences.
preferences. Yeah. So so each one of them, but yeah, I mean, if your body is deficient of something, see, again, yeah, approach a qualified nutritionist if you want, really. I mean,
Exactly,
that
yeah.
is, don't approach someone who is really commercial. I mean, approach a qualified nutritionist who any of your friends will recommend, and go to them. They will advise you on what you need to do.
So,
So,
so people should not just see, okay, vitamin C deficiency, I'll eat
no, I wouldn't.
with the food.
I strongly would discourage that. Don't just eat it till. I mean, best
Recommended
is
by
the
a
yeah, if it's recommended, or is there a reason? Have you identified, evaluated, analyzed yourself, and
got
then
this
only
done.
yeah.
Every year we should get all the
Yeah, I
tests
do
done
it
once
every
a
year.
year.
So I
It's a
do a
good
health
habit.
health checkup every year.
Mm.
So and you just see, is your body deficient with something, and based on that, you need to don't blindly go and have something, and no magic will happen by eating anything just like that. There's no magic which can happen.
Because running fast, a lot of it claims like you'll run fast, you'll be
No,
running
never,
fast.
nothing, nothing. Supplements will seriously not give you any magic. It's just that if you have shortage of, I mean, if there's a deficiency of something,
We
like
can we can also help out with that test, like especially people who are in Bangalore, we have good contacts. So,
yeah, yeah.
all those things are there. I mean, everyone is already aware of that, not like
So
the
the people have a lot of protein shakes and all. So if you don't have access, see, even vegetarians have lots of source of proteins. Your sprouts,
exactly.
sprouts are rich in proteins. Tofu or paneer. I mean, if you don't have dairy products, then tofu you can have, which is also rich in proteins. There are this. Okay, I don't remember the name. So
So
the
yeah,
soya. Absolutely, thanks for that. Yeah, soya is good in protein. So there's so many things. Even vegans also have access. There's so many best athletes in the world are also vegans. There have been. So
But not all. I mean, it's a personal. So we're not saying anything, but
yeah,
we are just trying to make a point. If a nutritionist or you get a health checkup and there is a serious deficiency in this thing, either change your diet pattern or like it's
yeah,
okay. Then it's fine to include
right.
this.
I mean,
Nobody is against. Just to make it clear, nobody is against any brand here. Nobody. Everyone has their choice to make the living out of whatever they want to do. But it's just a recommendation as like a
yeah,
care. I mean, who like wants everyone to be healthy.
right.
Okay, very nice, very nice. Thanks for covering that part. And so what keeps you going in tough days, uh, tough times,
Yeah, I
tough
mean,
days? Everyone faces that.
yeah, like Corona is a good example. I mean, literally during lockdown, 2 months we were not permitted to be out on the streets. So that was a very good example. And I ensured that I follow the guidelines. So I was so I had stopped running, and what I did is, I was into I took something else. So I started additional focus on the strengthening part. So there were a lot of strengthening activities which I was not doing. That was a good opportunity. So I started lots of new activities, in the strengthening part. So the best is, those who are following me on Insta,
Push-ups,
yeah,
pull-ups.
the push-ups that I was doing. Then later on, pull-ups, like for example, I keep saying I could not even move half an inch when I would do a pull-up. I was like, how do I pull myself up? I'm just stuck over there. I just had absolutely no energy to pull myself up, not even half an inch. And from there, I moved that I could do, more than 10 consecutive full range pull-ups, and I did it in a span of around 4 to 5 months. So I mean, so even though I stopped my running, I still continued with my strengthening and fitness activities. And yeah, so I mean, find out what is it that you can do during those things. So if you're like, in case if you're injured, then find out, what is the other sport that you can do, or you can do a social activity. So there's so many things that you can do. So identify that, and see what should be done. So, so I mean, tough days will be there. It might be, work is extremely challenging. So yeah, if I have, even when I have certain things that, so I would just cancel a run and I have to focus on my work. I know that is important, but that's the source of income for you, and that is critical, very very critical, because you are responsible for something. So I would focus on that uh, for the day. Yeah.
I guess we can wrap it up with one last thing which I would like to mention about Bobby. Like, I have seen him inspiring lot of people through setting a tough example of like running fast and giving some very challenging goals. Even I remember 31 kilometer you ran a stadium run 2 hours, and I'm like, we had like very new team for stadium run, and yeah, like, so we were like in a way like, no, we have to run faster. We have to cover more distance than Bobby. Just as a fun. It's okay, half a distance at least we have to cross that. So you have been challenging in that, along with like after stadium run, you were part of the celebration. We had like lot of teams and cake
Yeah.
we brought, and so you were part of that. Causes we did, you were part of supporting the causes, funds, donations, charities, NGOs, celebrations. So you have inspired a lot of people. I do not know if you understand the impact of that, and a lot of people have grown huge communities. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, it has been like a big part of me also. I mean, and we have like over like 2000 people now in members, and around 32 groups or something. It's crazy. But so what is your, I mean, what inspires you in doing so? Or is it just, it just comes natural and you
Yeah,
don't
I
think
would say,
much about?
yeah, I don't think so much. I mean,
And
I just,
what is the eventual like goal? You want to see
no,
something?
to be frank, it's a daily thing. So, I mean, as I said, again, running is not the only thing. I'm active in so many other initiatives. Like, I'm a very active member in in this association that we are staying in. I'm a very active member over here. So I know I can influence in a lot of those activities. So I literally drive a lot of things what is happening. So politically as well, I mean, I'm not active in politics, but There are a lot of political
Mm-hmm.
people who can influence. So I work with them.
Mm-hmm.
Not just our layout, even the extended community. So we have a concept called as ward. So within the ward also I'm reasonably active in certain
Mm-hmm.
things. And as I said, I mean, I have my own composting unit. So in
Mm-hmm.
my from my house, in a year, I tell that in a year, not more than 4 or 5 times in a year, garbage goes
Garbage, yeah.
out of my house. Literally, never. So my garbage, which is still there, it's been over 3 months. It is still there. So it takes over 3 months to be even filled by one fourth of the size, because the only person in the house who uses that garbage bin is my maid. When she sweeps, she puts mops, sweeps and mops. She puts that's the only time we ever use. So otherwise, we have a separate thing for dry waste, separate thing for wet waste. Wet waste is all in my composting unit. And since we eat a lot of non-veg, there are those bones and everything, so that we feed to the dogs. So there is no concept called as garbage in this house. I hate the term called garbage. I mean, and yeah, so I feel that I should follow that. So I have my own composting. I have my own terrace garden. So everything from my compost goes into the terrace garden. So these are simple things. I mean, no big things. I mean, you feel that these are small things that you can do. It needs a lot of your attention, because composting requires a bit of your attention, daily attention, and family has to support you, because family. So initial early days it was a little bit difficult, but now it's as a habit. Nobody ever goes to the garbage
Yeah.
bin. Itself is not accessible. It is lying outside over there, so it's just not accessible. So nothing in the house ever goes into the garbage. So, I mean, so these are small things that we do. It might be for the outside world looks something, but yeah, I mean, I
Day
feel
to day
it is.
thing.
Yeah, it's just these are small things that we all responsible for. So that's all about myself.
We'll
Yeah.
take any question at 5 minutes.
Sure, 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 sure,
So
sure.
we'll open up for question answer session. If any of you have any questions that we have not covered, I have already taken all the common questions that most of you shared. So please feel free to ask any question at all that you have related to running. Uh, yeah, any of you have like any questions at all, please like feel free to ask. So just take a quick second.
Hey Gulin, this is Satish here.
Yes.
Hey, thanks, Bobby sir. It was good, talking to you and and giving us the knowledge, during your, runs. I have a simple question. I mean, it could be simple. I mean, do you have some recommendation for a pre-run and a post-run,
Yeah,
anything like that?
yeah, yeah.
Because
Very
I
good.
do daily. I mean, I do runs daily.
Hmm.
So and I've been following the warm up, cool down, all that. But
Yeah.
is there something like some kind of what to take for a pre-run and a post-run kind of?
Yeah, I mean, see, pre-run itself is a huge thing. So, so pre-run can even start from the previous day itself, previous night itself. You are mentally prepared on what you want to do the next day. So that is where the extent to which you do the pre-run part. So you know mentally that you are prepared for it. What you are supposed to be doing. You can visualize yourself what you want to do, and actually the morning of the run, what do you normally start off with? Do you have a juice, or do you have something light? Might be a banana or a fruit or a coffee. Have something very light. Some of them I also know have a sandwich. So if that's what you feel gives you the energy, you can have a small sandwich, a vegetarian, something which will digest within a shorter span of around 30-45 minutes. It should digest. It should not be heavy. It should be very light. So I normally, personally, I have a coffee, a small coffee. I have. I empty out my stomach, so keep myself as light as possible. Uh, and I always start my run with a warm up. So I have a warm up drill. I just cannot start my run like that. So I'm so used to it that might be it will be just a 5 minutes warm up. So I have a concept called a body loosener, loosening all the joints in the body. So I just do a few of those body loosener drills. So it's like oiling up your body. I always say how the way we oil the machines, So you start off, you start easy, so that the machines move comfortably. Same thing, we need to the warm up helps you. Uh, Warm up will actually help you run much better. Much better. It will help you run, so your body feels far more comfortable. So I do a proper warm up. My first 1 to 3 kilometers would be slightly at a easier pace, and then after from the fourth kilometer, I would get into a rhythm. So then I do my runs. I finish off with again with some set of cooling down drills. So my routine is that when I finish my run, I finish at a place where I get access to a tender coconut. So I would have one or two
That's
tender
amazing.
coconuts. I would have because during the run I usually don't drink water. Um so I finish off with a tender coconut, come home, and then I do a set of cooling down drills. I do a set of strengthening drills also. So, so something which will strengthen up, some part of your body, either your upper part or your core or your lower part of the body. You have to do those strengthening drills, and that really helps you, get much stronger for your next run. So these are the set of things that I do. I hope I've answered, Satish.
Uh, Anyone else has any question? Sunil Bakshi sir says, looking forward to see you at border
Yes, Sunil.
126th December for 100 kilometers. Yeah,
Yeah.
welcome to Rajasthan. Anyone else has any questions? Please feel free to ask. Otherwise, we'll just wrap it up. I hope we took all the good questions and nobody is left with anything to ask. But very nice interacting with you, Bobby. Like it's always been very
A
inspiring.
pleasure, and I
You
know
have
I
to.
know Gurlin does a lot for the community. I've always seen him supporting extensively, so it's really a good initiative. And I also know in all the events that he organizes, also he socially volunteers himself. Not only himself, he ensures that he has a team with him who would be supporting. So it's really a very nice initiative, Gurlin. So
Thank you.
good,
Hey,
good,
Thanks.
Gurleen,
and
quick
keep going.
one more last question, Gurleen.
Yeah.
Hey, Satish here. Sorry, one more last question. Sir, I've been running daily, at least cover 4 to 5 kilometers, and I run daily on the tar road.
Hmm.
So I don't go to any ground considering the current COVID situation.
Hmm.
So I run daily on the tar, right, 4 to 5 kilometers, and weekend sometimes run 10 kilometers. So is that good, right? It's a tar road. I mean, my concern is tar road is what I'm just
See,
concerned.
yeah,
Is
I
it?
mean, more than the tart. See, the perfect one is to run in the trails. That is in the not in the tar, in the
Tracks.
tracks. Yeah, I mean tracks is also not the stadium tracks, but just the normal roads.
Normal
The
roads.
yeah. So that's the perfect. But in a city, in a lifestyle that we live in, that's just impossible. So I mean, as long as you are fit, I mean, very important. That's the important. I mean, I would not recommend you to run every day. Run 4 days, 5 days a week, maximum 5 days. Give body minimum of 1 day, or if you're new, then 2 days to recover. Focus on also other strengthening activities. So as I said, I run not more than 3 days. So previously I used to run only 2 days a week. Now I run 3 days. Um, and the other 2 or 3 days I focus on my strengthening. So strengthening helps you get stronger and run better. So you will not face issues like your knee joints or any joints paining. So you will not face any of those issues. So that's why I always keep saying focus equally on strengthening your body. It may not be that interesting as running is, because running everyone enjoys, right? There's 3-4 kilometers that you run, you really enjoy it. Strengthening will not be that much of a fun, but body needs it. Our lifestyle is that we just sit in a place, body has lost all the strength. There's absolutely no strength till you do proper strengthening workouts. Your muscles are just not able to do anything. So so that's why strengthening is equally important. So Tish, I hope I answered you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I guess that's it then. This is the time when I would be gifting Bobby a plant I brought, which I already gifted,
Yeah.
and we can edit out really careful. It's here only. I think so.
Okay.
We'll we'll like make it. So there was a plant I brought, which I entered and I gifted him. So this is what it is.
I'll let you put.
Yeah. So I hope it was useful and helpful for you guys. So we won't take much of Bobby's time. I just came to his home. I thought it would be better in person. But that's it then. Thanks for joining in, and I'll see you guys later.